Hey creative minds and business enthusiasts, welcome to Looks Like We Made It. I'm Izzy, head of production at Howell Media and one half of our father-daughter duo alongside my dad Chris, our managing director. Together we're diving into the world of video marketing, content creation and all things creative. Each episode we share real stories, expert tips and the odd laugh along the way. This week we're talking all about manifest and we're joined by the awesome Mart Tweedy from Canny Crystals and the Manifest in the Northeast. So hello Mart.
The Manifest.
The
Hello.
Manifest. The Manifest.
Hello and welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on our podcast.
No,
Dare I say I'm a little bit nervous because you are a real star. You're famous, dare I say now. So
Are you starstruck?
I am a little bit starstruck.
Really?
Yes,
Come
yes,
on.
this is amazing. I saw you on stage obviously when we worked at Manifest
Yeah.
and I've listened to your podcast and now I have him here sat next to me. What do I do?
So tell us a little bit. What is Manifest?
So Manifest came about. I've had Canny Crystals now for 5 years. Canny Crystals came about from the loss of my granddad. I worked in mental health at the time and someone suggested some crystals to me to help dissipate my grief. And I think slowly but surely things started getting a little bit easier for me. And I thought, how can I incorporate this into my own well-being? And from there, Canny Crystals was born. Like I said, that was 5 years ago. And I just wanted to kind of bring everyone else into the world of spirituality as well. So I started an academy and delivering courses online. And then I started a podcast, which constantly hits #1 in the spirituality charts in the UK.
I think that's why Izzy's nervous.
And then from that, I just thought, wouldn't this be amazing if I could almost do a podcast live event where I got these amazing people and these amazing teachers into one room to speak to people face to face. And I went round my friends one night and just had a cup of tea and we were just sat there chatting about how this could happen. And next thing I knew, I'd booked a venue. I'd booked you guys as videographers and I was then booking the speakers and the workshops. And yeah, it was just born out of boredom more than anything else.
That is amazing.
But yeah, the amount of feedback we've had from the event itself has just been absolutely insane and people absolutely loved it. It was such a high vibe event and we're already planning 2026's event now as well.
Fantastic.
That is brilliant.
And is there anything like Manifest? Is Manifest unique in the sort of space?
I think the only thing that I would remotely consider it being compared to would be Fern Cotton's Happy Place Festival. The reason being Fern Cotton's Happy Place Festival tends to be about wellness and well-being, whereas we try to, well, I say we, it's literally me. I try to focus around 3 pillars, which are manifestation, mindset and spirituality. I think all 3 of them are quite interlinked, especially working in the NHS and mental health. You know, spirituality is quite big on people's recovery journeys, and I just thought, you know, there's not really something out there that incorporates all of this, but I don't want it to be people that think that it's just a conference and they can come and they're just listening to speakers. I want them to get fully involved. I want this to be engaging. So that's why I got all of these amazing workshops, like the yoga workshops, sound healing, crystal workshops, but then also to have an exhibitor hall of people that are selling their wares within that space and that area as well. So yeah, it's just kind of incorporating everything. So I don't believe that there's anything like that fully in the UK.
And it's fantastic that it's in the Northeast as well. It's fantastic that it's in Newcastle.
One of the reasons that it's in Newcastle, and the amount of messages I've had about this, and you know, people saying, bring it to London, bring it to Birmingham. No, you come to Newcastle, you come to Newcastle, right? The whole reason it's in Newcastle is every single conference, business or spiritual, whatever it is, it's always in London. It's always me having to travel. So I've done this for my own benefit. And I just said to people, I want to showcase the Northeast. I want to bring people up here. I want to bring some business to the Northeast. And so, yeah, I started it in my hometown of Newcastle, and that's where it's going to stay. I have no plans to take this elsewhere. I thought, you know what? It's kind of halfway if you look at the UK. So everyone in Glasgow, Edinburgh, they can easily get down. They're not having to go all the way to London. And, you know, it's a short 40-minute flight if you're coming from Northern Ireland, Dublin or Belfast. So it's quite central to the UK.
And of course, anybody can watch it online.
So
anywhere in the world.
Yeah, we stream the event, and that's the beauty of it as well. You guys obviously stream it live.
It was a gentle plug there, wasn't it?
Actually, I steered the conversation.
But it's not only live. They also get full access to all the recordings afterwards as well. So you know, this year we had like some attendees from Australia, South America.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there was people from Brazil and things. And I was like, why have you come all the way to Newcastle? You could have just watched this online and saved yourself a bit of money. But it's so nice that people have done that. But, you know, money is a bit of an object for some people. And, you know, if you do want to sit at home and watch it, you can.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think that, so with obviously when Canny Crystals came about 5 years ago, had you before that point, and obviously before everything that happened with your granddad, was spirituality part of your life before then, or did it kind of, because like I think that's what I learned, particularly because I mean I'm semi-spiritual, I would say, is that like I really liked at Manifest how it wasn't just for the people who were like uber spiritual.
Yeah.
It kind of was, it was a bit for everyone. And I think like, so I have some crystals on my desk which I drag from office to
Have you bought
office.
them from Canny Crystals?
Well,
I checked her own history. She hasn't.
the next ones will be. But there's obviously people who are kind of like dipping a toe in and
Yeah.
sort of, and it's not just for the extreme sort of super spiritual types. But like for you, what was that process like to get to that point and to, you know, be the spiritual person that you are?
So I think growing up, I was always interested in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Charmed, you know, TV shows about
Yeah.
like witches and supernatural things. I would always go to a spiritual church when I hit about 16, and I didn't know why, but I just wanted like a bit of healing there. And now and again, most of the time I wanted a message from a dead person. That's what it was. Do you know what I mean? Like I would go to these little spiritual nights where people would stand up in a circle and just deliver messages. And I was just intrigued more than anything else. But working in the NHS, it's like you're always aware of spirituality, but you know that there is like a finite route that someone has to take to recover in mental health. Do you know what I mean? So much red tape in the NHS as well. I think when my granddad passed at the time, I'd read a book called The Secret about manifesting, more about mindset than anything else, and that's what intrigued me. And I think when I think back to like 2017, 2018, before all of this came about, I was reading mindset books to develop myself. And I think it is all interlinked. Do you know what I mean? Because manifestation and spirituality, it all comes back to mindset.
Yeah.
It's what you put out to the universe. I'm not a very like religious person or anything. I'm quite agnostic. I believe there's something out there, but I don't believe that we've got like this God floating around in the sky or anything. So I think putting manifest on, it was almost like I didn't want to shove everything into people's faces all at once and confuse them all. So I think I started, and when I first came out on stage, I thought, I'm just going to tell my story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just to bring people in slowly and gradually. And then the second person I specifically put on as a mindset coach, just to bring them into the world of mindset. Then we started talking about quantum transformation and going a bit deeper. Do you know what I mean? But it's just like easing them in, because a lot of people will come to manifest or will be out there in the world wanting to know more about spirituality, and all they want to know is how can they get started. They don't want to know about quantum transformation just yet. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to know about feng shui or anything like that. They just want to know, how can I make myself feel better today?
And that's it. Because did you find that, because the attendees I thought was such a diverse group of people from all over, because we obviously did a lot of vox pops with people. We got a chance to chat to the audience, and there were some people who were sort of like super into manifestation, super spiritual, really kind of, and others that were still almost like there to try it out and see about it, and sort of feeling like they kind of were just exploring something new. And did you find that was what, were you expecting that when you set up Manifest, or was it something that, did you expect a particular kind of audience to appear? Or
I did expect a particular kind of audience. I thought it was going to be women. Sorry. I just know my customer base, do you know what I mean? And I know what my customer demographics are, and they're women aged 20 to 35. However, I was very surprised at the amount of women over the age of 60 that were at that event.
Oh, interesting.
There was a lot. And I was also, at the start of Manifest, when I'd gone on and done my little intro speech, I asked people to stand up if they were a solo traveler as well, if they'd come on their own. And I think about 60% of the room stood up.
Wow.
And I got such a shock Like I knew the stats anyway because I'd already looked at the ticket sales, but I got such a shock and everyone started clapping straight away and applauding them, and I thought that is so nice that they've chosen to come here on their own, because spirituality can feel quite lonely. And if you feel spiritual yourself, sometimes it feels a little bit silly talking about crystals or manifesting or mindset to other people in fear of being judged.
Do you find, I mean, I don't like to use the word woo-woo. Do you find, though, that people are like naysayers, negative, that they throw that back at you and they kind of
God, yeah.
Is that a thing that you
yeah.
you
So
have to deal
I
with?
find that in business, since putting myself on Facebook adverts, I've had to really target down my audience. If I don't and I leave it open, I get American Yanks. Sorry if there's any American Yanks listening. I get Americans just messaging me, and it will always be the same people. It's always either a man with a handlebar mustache or a man riding a motorbike.
Right.
And they will message, and I don't know if I can swear on here.
You're welcome to do whatever you like.
But they'll put like fucking faggot. Or
Wow.
You really believe this shit works. You need Jesus in your life. I can't believe that you're selling people rocks. What a fucking charlatan. And so I was having to go on there every single day on Facebook ads and delete these comments. But
That's
then people
awful.
would accuse me of deleting comments. And so I had to really, thank you, ChatGPT, I had to really drill down as to how I can drill down my audience. So I'm only hitting this female demographic of like 20 to 65 that are interested in spirituality and mindset and manifesting.
Wow,
And
it's
is
such
it-
a shame.
No, I mean,
that.
I'm
It
shocked,
is.
and I'm sorry to hear that.
Nothing
that you
shocks
get-
me these
No,
days.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
for everything you've been through this year.
Yeah.
But also, do you feel that it's a predominantly a female thing? Then, is it? Would you want to target more guys into the?
I do,
the
yes.
fold?
And do you know what it is? This year, when I looked out into the audience, there was 2 men sat front row, and I thought, oh, amazing. They've both been dragged by their wives. However, in the breaks, they both came up to me and said, this is all fairly new to me. However, you're doing an amazing job. What an amazing atmosphere. And they really praised it. And they said they're coming back next year, and they have. They've already bought tickets. At 2026's event, at 2025's event, I noticed I was the only male person on the stage, person that identifies as a male. In 2026, I've already booked 2 male speakers, one of them in health and wellness, one of them mental health. And I thought, this is my way of trying to say, come on, guys, get involved here, because spirituality is for everyone. It's not just for females. It's not just for people within a certain age range. I mean, there was even like a 14-year-old girl that had come with her mum that day, and she said she'd learned so much by the end of it, and her mum was so proud of her for attending something like that. So, spirituality is for everyone, and we don't judge. People can come and go as they want.
Well, that's it. I think that the audience, yes, while it was predominantly women, I mean, I know I'm going slightly off topic from Manifest, but maybe I'm not. I don't know. But I mean, why do you think it is particularly a female audience that are drawn towards spirituality? Because weirdly, I do follow quite a few spiritual people on Instagram, etc. And I find it is a bit of a gender mix. There are men out there, there's women out there that's doing that, and I don't really look at that. I look at what they've got to say.
Yeah.
But why do you think it does attract that female audience?
I think it's becoming a lot more socially acceptable for men to be interested in this without looking gay or something like that. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of where it comes from, though. It's a stigma behind spirituality. People think, oh, they deal with crystals, they must be gay. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of straight men now that are interested in mental well-being, breath work, having cold ice baths and stuff. It's all kind of that whole holistic wellness now. But I think it tends to be women, because I think women aren't afraid to say, oh, I'm interested in this, whereas a man will have a fear of judgment against them by their friends. Now, what's funny is I recently was on a TV show, and the winner of that TV show, who's one of my really good friends now, he's wanting to come on my podcast. And I said, you're a scaffolder. Why do you want to come on my podcast? And he said, well, I manifested that win. And I was like, what? And he's only now starting to tell me about this. Whereas on the show, he was a bit nervous to speak up about that because he had a fear of being judged by the other cast members. So I think that's where that kind of gender divide comes into play.
That's amazing, because I don't know if it's because it is traditionally more believed to be more feminine, whether it's sort of you look throughout history. You've got sort of apothecary types. You've got women who are kind of witches. You know, no one was getting burnt, thankfully, at Manifest. But that's kind of been reclaimed, I think, quite a lot recently. And I think there's it's unbelievable the amount of people who think they have a place to say horrible things. I think that my stance is that basically what I loved about the event and what I think is really powerful about this sort of spiritual mission, I suppose, is the fact that it doesn't matter where you end up or if you don't believe in any of it. I think what it does promote is, even if you take away a positive mindset, I think that's really crucial. Like even if you don't take away any of the spiritual stuff, but you feel more motivated, you feel more empowered, I think is absolutely key. But I mean, that's me as someone who, you know, likes all of that stuff, I think. And I can't understand why people just want to keep constantly bringing it down, but it's
I think the reason that I want people to attend and people to have fun is because when my granddad passed in 2019, he was the father figure in my life. I didn't really have a dad growing up, and he died really suddenly. He wasn't ill, and that threw me into a huge downward spiral. I was depressed. I was literally, I'd had about 3 or 4 friends that same year as well that had taken their own lives. And I just thought to myself, is this where I'm headed? Like, is this the end for me as well? Like, is this all life is? People dying all around you? And I just don't want anyone, I know it's impossible for me to say, but I don't want anyone in the world to feel as low as I did back then. And so the crystals really helped me get out of that grief and dissipate the grief and, you know, find myself again, so to speak. And that's how I found spirituality. But I don't want anyone else to have to feel as low as I did. And that's why I'm doing all of that. That's my mission. It's to incorporate a bit of mental well-being with spirituality, with mindset, all in aid of my granddad, to be honest.
Oh,
you'd be proud.
Very, very proud. That is amazing.
Well, the name Canny Crystals came up from my granddad because whenever I would go around to his house with my nana, at the end he would always say, "Gan Canny son." Do you know what I mean? So I was trying to think of a business name when I was, you know, during the pandemic, and clear as day I heard his voice in my head just saying "Gan Canny." And I went, Canny Crystals.
That is amazing. And it really does like place itself right in the heart of Newcastle as well. Like it, you know, that again, why Manifest is so important there.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Oh, no.
When people are like, "Oh, you're based in Scotland." I'm like, "No." And then Manifest, I put it out and they went, "Why is it in Newcastle and not in Manchester?" And I went, Manny. Oh, okay. People think Manifest is Manny as in Manchester.
Oh, wow.
So,
I would never have put those two together. But
especially not when it's spelled M-A-N-I rather than double N-Y. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. And or you'd put a C surely at the end of man for it to be Manchester. But no.
It's interesting, the gender thing there, that it is actually man. You know, it is that the first 3 letters is man.
Yeah, man.
There's a certain sort of.
We should have Womanifest.
Well, it happened here, right here, folks. But
it's incredible. Really, really fascinating. And as I say, when we have I've mentioned this on the podcast before. We have a strict anti-discriminationary policy, which is we have an anti-dickhead. So that's it. We just can't deal within the business and within life in general. That's the benchmark.
That's the policy we.
Well, I'm glad I passed that benchmark.
Oh, absolutely.
Passed with flying colours.
Yeah.
So in the sense, like, you know, and I definitely, you know, those horrible things that those people said to you, that they'd be in that fold with us, you know.
Yeah.
And we actually try and, you know, as a business and, you know, personally, I try and live by that philosophy. I just don't give any time or any brain space to anybody that, you know, so I don't have an issue with anybody at all on any level, provided they fit that criteria.
I think initially when you first start and get like online trolls or people commenting or, you know, stuff like that, it does hurt because you're thinking, well, I've put my heart and soul into this, I've delivered this product, and then I've just had a negative troll comment about it. So I think the first, I'm going to say 2-3 months, it was hurting. And then now I'll get one and I'm like, block, delete, bye. I don't give them any mind. No. Do you know what I mean? I just think, why would I waste my energy when my energy could be going elsewhere?
Well, that's all they want. And I think it detracts.
They just
massively.
want a reaction. That's all it is.
And that's it. And I think it detracts massively from what it is that you're achieving with Manifest as well. And I think it's easy to get swept up in all this stuff, and that's what they want. They want you to be distracted, I suppose, at the end of the day. But
they want
I think
you to fail.
Totally. And I think it's a terrible way of doing things. But I think So you had the idea over a cup of tea for Manifest.
Yeah.
And then what was that? You knew you were going to do it. What was the next steps after that?
So I love a spreadsheet.
Oh,
I love a spreadsheet.
yes.
Sat down, opened Excel. I thought, right, what do I need from now until launch date? And I thought, right, I need to book a venue, book speakers, look at health and safety regulations for the venue. I'm dead meticulous, as you can tell. And I wrote down there was 155 steps that I needed to take. And beside these, I wrote down person that would be responsible for this.
How many times was your name on that list?
153.
Yeah,
so there was two things that I couldn't do, and that was one was Seek PR, and that was Claire from House of Hype & Co. in Sunderland. She helped out on that front, and the second was Approach Looks magazine, and again that was Claire. Everything else on the list was me. So it was even down to, for this event, I knew that everyone would need a notepad of some sort. So I thought, I'm going to design this, but I thought, let's not just design a notepad. Let's design it so it's got speaker information and people can write in it as well under each speaker. Let's do manifest pens. Let's do manifest lanyards. I literally designed everything. My partner's upstairs, a graphic designer, and I'm sat there on Canva every night like, oh
my God, how did he handle that? Was he just watching you? Was he twitching?
He hates when I use Canva. Absolutely hates it.
I mean, he sat next to another graphic designer.
He's literally Photoshop till he dies. But yeah, I use Canva because...
If it works, it works.
I've used it for the last 5 years now, and I'm comfortable with it, and I know it's like inside out, so I know what I can do, and I know its capabilities. So it works wonders for me. So yeah, every single thing for the event was me. And I think people turned up on the day, and the amount of people that were saying, oh my God, your team must have been working tirelessly getting this sorted. And I'm like, team? On the day, I literally roped in my best friend, her cousin, my partner, and Julie and Claire, my business friends.
That is amazing.
The 5 of us, I give them no briefing or anything. We turned up on the morning, 6 o'clock. I went, quick, here's your orange T-shirts. Put your orange T-shirts on. That was it. And I went, Nikki, you're going to run the stall at Canny Crystals. Julie, you're going to check people in. Claire, you're going to be like a concierge, like taking people to the seats. And that was it.
I must point out at this stage, though, that when you arrived at 6 o'clock, the whole media team were already...
You were already in. And I was like, why are we being sat outside in the van for the last half hour? I was told that we weren't allowed to get until 6 o'clock, and whole media's already inside.
Just walk with purpose.
Yeah,
but
I love that.
That is amazing. And so, like, you have obviously your name 153 times.
Yeah.
And like I love a spreadsheet and all that. And we do a similar thing because we are a small business, is that like when we are sort of getting in our event head or our promo head or coaching head, whatever it may be, is we do have to also do the thing where we're like, right, well, you're this person 10 times over and I'm this person 10 times over. When you saw that and you saw your name 153 times, that would have made me want to just run and hide and just cry a little bit. Like, what did you
just start ticking, don't you?
Yeah, did you just
I think I'm autistic because I love it. And so I had like a traffic light system, and I thought I'll mark everything red, and I was like, right, what can I make a start on? That can go amber. Once it's done, it's green. And I just slowly chipped away at it. So I even built the website and everything. That I used something called Kajabi for the Canny Crystals Academy, which is like an online members kind of platform, but you can build out your website. And I thought, I already know how to use Kajabi. I'm not going to spend months or loads of money getting a web designer to do it. So I thought, right, let's choose some snazzy pictures and build this website, put the website live, and we sold over 100 tickets on the first day.
That is amazing.
And I just thought, this is literally all me. I'm doing the website, I'm doing the promo, I'm doing the marketing, I'm doing the emails, doing the social media.
Do you think because it was all you, do you think it almost kind of like filtered through that, almost like it was you?
Yeah,
kind of,
it feels like an extension of me. 100%. And I think
if you used it like a cold, not to sort of be disrespectful to anybody in the trade, but ultimately if you'd gone to an agency and said, right, set this up for me, I'm going to sit back, and it wouldn't be you. There'd be a coldness to it.
I'm a control freak as well, though. So I took that on board.
You can't sit back at all.
No, and I think I have outsourced my website building back in 2022, I think it was, for Canny Crystals. I wanted a huge website shake-up, and I outsourced it to a company. And when it came back, I was like, this looks awful. It just looked really corporate, and I'm like, that's not what I'm about. I wanted the fun element, and I wanted my story to be told through the website pages, and it was just very bland, white, little boxes, add to cart. You know what I mean? And I was like, this isn't me.
No.
This isn't me. And people weren't buying as well. It lasted about 2 weeks, and I asked them to revert it back.
Yeah.
10 grand gone.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
All the old 10 grand lessons.
It's an expensive business learning, isn't it?
It is,
But, I mean,
I've had a lot of expensive business learning teachings and things. Obviously, Manifest this year, for example, it was originally supposed to be at the Glass House, which has a capacity of 1,650. When we were 2 months until the event, I think we'd sold about 400 tickets. And I thought, right, this venue is costing me near enough £80,000. I really need to try and save some of that money because we're only using a quarter of it. I started looking at other venues. The Boiler Shop charged £7,000. I thought I can easily save, minus the deposit I've already given them, I can save £60,000 by moving this.
Yeah.
It was a huge business mistake. I lost the 13 grand deposit. But swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
It was the first year. It was a learning curve. And I thought, we are going to make mistakes in business. Do you know what I mean?
But
people do. It's
but
just
that's it.
human
And
nature.
I think that, because I remember when you gave us the call to say that you'd changed venues and stuff. And we were as up for it as we were like, yeah, okay.
I was
fine.
in panic mode, wasn't
Yeah,
I? I was like, ah.
But I think that a lot of people, people are more relaxed than you think they're going to be. I think in some cases, I think of having the thought of having to tell 400 people that there's a venue change feels like it's going to be, you're going to get clap back, aren't you?
Oh no, because it's across
It's
the Glass House.
Gateshead.
It's across the river.
We can get into trouble there.
Across the
can't we?
river.
I literally had to print out a map on their email and I drew a line from the Glass House to the Boiler Shop and I said, look, it's a 4-minute walk if you go this route. And I just tried to sweeten the deal with people to make it as soft as possible. We had one person and his partner that emailed on the day to say, oh my God, we're at the Glass House. Well, why is the event not on? They turned up 10 minutes late.
Oh,
so we had one complaint. I say we, I keep saying we, it's me. I communicated it really well. And do you know what I mean? I made sure that it was on every single email that I was sending out within that 2-month radius saying, just a reminder, we have now changed the venue. Then I think a week before the event, someone went, is it actually at this venue? Because you've still got the Glass House on the website. And I was like, no! I was like, how have I even missed that? Because I am meticulous with what I do. And like I said, we had that one little slip up and that was it.
And how do you find that because obviously, I mean, you're talking to another meticulous person and I do like a bit of detail. We both do really, don't we? I've seen Chris put a ruler on my monitor to check something's straight or not. So we take detail seriously. But I sometimes find that when I have got that long list, things are still in red, you've got a few bits in green and you've got a looming deadline. You've got a deadline of 400 plus people showing up at the door looking for you. Like that's a lot of pressure. Like, how did you manage that timeline from knowing you still had to tick these things off and you had that looming thing at the end? Were you just in a constant state of anxiety for like a year, or did you just sort of get through it bit by bit?
I won't lie, it did keep me up a few nights. There was some nights that, I'm one of those people where my head hits the pillow, I'll close my eyes, I can literally count backwards from 10 and I'll get to 7 and I'm asleep. Wow. But this would keep me up. And it really would, something would just pop into my head last thing at night and it would be, oh my God, you haven't sent the brochures to print. Or, oh my God, you've spelt Kirsty Gallagher's name wrong on the brochure or something and you've just sent it to print and it's 400 copies and there's nothing you can do about it now. Because that did actually happen. I spelled her handle. Yeah. I put Kirsty Gallagher when it's Kirsty_Gallagher.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, it'd already gone to print, and I only realised when I got to bed. I was like, well, what do I do? So I just had to make sure it was fine on the projector behind the screen and just mention it to people when they're on the stage and hope nobody noticed.
But it's the fact you remembered that though as a detail shows that
But it just came up as my head hit the pillow. So there was plenty of times when stress came about, but for me, I was trying to run Canny Crystals, deal with all my Academy members, do my weekly podcast, create this huge event Manifest, this beast that it is, and look after a 1-year-old at the same time. And I can't even remember most of last year, if I'm totally honest, when I was in the planning phase.
So fast forward then to next year, which depending on when people are listening to
it'll still be next year.
So tell us about Manifest 2026 then.
So
are you still doing as much as you are now?
The team.
Honestly,
tell us about the team.
The team is still just me. However, 2025's event, we sent out feedback forms. People said, they wanted somewhere that they could connect with other people on the evening. because they were kicked out of the venue at 6 p.m. They all congregated in hotel lobbies. And I said, right, okay, after party. That's the first thing. The second thing was that people said it was incredible, but there was so much rammed into that 9 hours. And I was like, right, 2-day event, let's split it. The third thing was about not enough food options. I was like, right, okay, let's get catering in. Mm-hmm. So I've taken what people have given me the feedback for, and I've thought, right, okay, next year I went straight to a venue, Assembly Rooms in Newcastle, booked the entire venue from the Friday to the Sunday, because we only had 2 hours to set up before the doors opened this year. I wanted the Friday afternoon to be able to get in there, get everything set up, all the cameras and everything, all the angles, staging, lights, equipment. And then it will run Saturday and Sunday, exactly how it did this year, but across 2 days, so a bit more spread out. This year we had 3 workshops. Next year we've got 12. This year we had 10 exhibitors. Next year, we've got 70.
That's amazing.
It's grown massively. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And we've got a lot more space to play with in this building as well. And it's a huge grand building. And so the after party, they've said we can have the bar until 11 p.m. Now, this isn't going to be the kind of people, well, I hope not, the kind of people that have like a riot or a rave or anything. So I'm toying with like booking maybe a couple of singers, you know, someone sat with a guitar, just nice vibes, because people don't want this event to be just a party. No. They want it to be somewhere they can connect with other people. Like I said earlier, spirituality is quite lonely. Mm-hmm. If they can find their tribe by, you know, talking to someone next to them and then having a drink with them later on, so be it. It's forming connections, isn't it? And I think that's what this is all about.
A nice thing.
Yeah. I think that's it. And I think because I mean, the fact that you'll have, I think a lot of solo people again, possibly, that gives them so much more time to build those friendships and come back the next day and recognize people, and it'll feel like they've almost like been welcomed into this community, which is amazing. I think that and then for Manifest 2026, are you thinking beyond 2026? Have you got big sort of future plans for Manifest? Or?
I do. I think because it was obviously the first year this year, it was hard to gauge whether people wanted it or not. So at the end of 2025's event, I put a QR code up on the screen and said, there you go, tickets for next year. I had no plans. I said to people, oh yeah, there's a few names that have been thrown about, but I literally had no plans. I just wanted to see what it was like. And I thought, you know what, if maybe 10 people buy a ticket, I'll think, nah, I'm not doing this again. I'm not putting myself through this stress. I'll refund them. Do you know what I mean? But 110 people did. And I thought, right, I'm locked in now. I need to start looking for a venue. So I got my spreadsheet back out, made everything red, started from fresh.
That is amazing. And I think
so. I'm hoping that, you know, in the future it will expand. I would love to have it on the town moor in Newcastle, for example. Obviously, weather permitting, you've got to think of so many other things. You've got to have tents, you've got to have electricity points, toilets. There's so much to think of in an outdoor festival, but I would love for it to go that way eventually. But that's the reason that I'm utilising all these indoor spaces.
I was going to say, big news. I think God, we could talk all day. Like I literally have so many questions, but I think something that would be useful for our listeners, because our listeners vary from sort of solo business owners to people who work in marketing to people who, a lot of people that I work with on a coaching basis are very much the people who are like, I'm doing it all by myself. I am my accountant. I am my designer. I am my marketing specialist, my HR, everything. Like, what would be your advice to someone who is listening to this, who has got the detail envy of what you've got, and the fact that you were ballsy enough to basically just put that event on by yourself pretty much in such a short space of time, which is incredible. What would be your advice to people who are in that position, who are juggling everything at once, who are in that space where they feel like they've got their name 153 times and they just have that sort of paralysis?
I think you've just got to look after your own well-being, literally protect your own energy, outsource what you can. Obviously, there's little things that I have done to outsource, such as my accountant, you know, just little things like that. But I am a control freak, so I do thrive off it. I do enjoy being busy. I'm not one of those people that could just sit there for hours on a PlayStation and sit on the couch.
Oh, same.
Don't get us wrong, I love like binge watching on Netflix every now and again. That's my little bit of downtime, but I wouldn't sit there all day. I like to be keeping busy, so I work 7 days a week, I'm constantly working maybe 14, 16 hours a day.
Gosh.
It's very rare that I get any time off. But when I do get my time off, I enjoy it so much more. But what I've got to think of is that I left the NHS to do this. In the NHS, I could work 40 hours, switch off at the end of the day, come home and not have any cares in the world. Yes, I have a lot more stress, but I also have a lot more time freedom. I know I'm saying I work 14, 16 hours a day, but I can pick and choose when I work.
Yeah.
So for today, for example, I've had the luxury of coming over to Sunderland. This afternoon, I'm going to take my little boy swimming and just have the full day off work. This isn't really work, but it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just thought, yeah, I think it differs from person to person, but I think if you need to outsource something for the sake of your own well-being, by all means, do it.
Brilliant. I don't think just to chip in, I don't think anybody's ever said I had the luxury of coming to Sunderland.
Don't be mean. Don't be mean.
I'm not being mean. Our officers are here.
I know.
It's a
I
great
know.
place.
I won't hint at it too much. But have you thought about doing another reality show anytime soon?
I don't know if I'll be doing another reality TV show anytime soon. But never say never.
Exactly.
It depends what kind of reality TV show. If it was Gogglebox or something,
that
fair
would be
enough.
brilliant.
You know what I mean? But
you'd have to leave your sofa for that one.
Yeah, if it's very psychological, like The Inheritance that I was recently on Channel 4, shameless plug. Watch it on OD. Yeah, if it was something like that where it was a bit more psychological, like The Traitors or something, maybe not.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, we're fascinated by the behind the scenes stuff. I know I've questioned you a lot about it already because it's unbelievable. But I mean, you've put me off for life. So, but before I go, thank you so much, Mart, for coming on the podcast. And I always end with a bit of a silly, not even a silly question. They're actually quite highbrow, so it's a highbrow question to end with. But where can people find you? How can they get involved with Canny Crystals and obviously Manifest 2026?
That's not a silly question.
That's not the silly question. That's not the silly question.
Oh, okay.
The question's coming after that.
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can search me. I'm at Mart Tweedy, not Mark, not Mary, as my mum calls me. Mart Tweedy, MART. You can also find Canny Crystals on those as well, which is at Canny Crystals. Manifest is at manny.fest.nuke, which is NEWC, not nuke as in bomb. But yeah, you can also read my book, Limitless, which is a great introduction to spirituality. It's a bit of my backstory, but it's also how all of these spiritual techniques like meditation, mindfulness, EFT, tapping crystals, how I incorporate them into my daily life and how they've helped me overcome my biggest blocks and fears over the years. So it's available on Amazon or on cannycrystals.co.uk. And if you want tickets for Manifest 2026, just head to www.manny-fest.uk.
That's amazing. That would be. Oh, I mean, we loved it last year, so we hope we're invited back next year.
Yeah, 100%.
But so my actual silly question, that wasn't a silly question. My actual one is, if success didn't have to look like money or status, what would it look like for you?
Oh, I think this is easy for me. It'd be time freedom. Do you know what one of my biggest dreams is, which my partner will not let me live out? I want to move to Whitburn, Bents.
Oh, really?
There's some beautiful houses up there, and I just love the coast so much.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Success to me is living in one of them. In Whitburn Bents, overlooking. There's one that I nearly booked a viewing for. It's like £950,000. I was like, can't afford that just yet.
It's time yet.
The old £1 million house. Yes.
But it's beautiful. It overlooks the sea. I've walked around that house so many times in my dreams. And guess what my partner said? I'm not living anywhere that has a Sunderland postcode.
Oh, well, you heard it here first.
Yeah. And yeah, he's refusing to move.
I'm sure, we'll blame this podcast and
peace and freedom in that house, that's what success means to me.
That is amazing. I love that. And Whitburn is beautiful as well.
It's
and anything
beautiful.
on the coast is gorgeous. And there's so much beautiful coast here.
Yeah.
How about you?
What was the question again?
Oh, you weren't paying attention.
I was paying attention.
If success didn't have to look like money or status, what would it look like for you?
I think it's just time and happiness, really. I think that's it, really. Just choices. Just about choices. Just time.
Yeah, I think for me, it would be at the minute with a 2-year-old, it would be a full night's sleep at this point. But I think it's that work-life balance. I think is absolutely crucial. I think we've all ended up with the same thing. Maybe that wasn't a silly question. Maybe that was quite an easy question.
Because the previous ones have been like, are you a chicken or a horse, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
like,
they're
glad
just,
you didn't ask
they're
that.
they're reserved just for you. I suppose the other one, which has actually proven quite popular because I asked it a few times, is what is your most irrational fear? Because mine every time is peacocks.
Peacocks?
I'm terrified of peacocks.
Really?
I must have been attacked by one in another life as an aristocrat, but
irrational fear.
yeah, but that's the one that always gets people thinking.
I'm not sure if it's a fear or a phobia, but see-through shirt buttons used to do it for me. You know, like on a shirt, see-through shirt buttons. I couldn't do a shirt up that had see-through shirt buttons. And I think it's because me nana used to have a little tin of buttons when I was younger, and I always used to put them in my mouth. And I think one time I must have choked on it, and psychologically, subconsciously, something stuck up there. So if I was going to work in the NHS, sometimes I would have to wear a shirt for meetings, and I would have to put gloves on to do the shirt.
Wow.
It literally made me feel
amazing.
repulsed, like as though I was going to be sick.
Well, you have that with like rubber, don't you?
A rubber?
Certain things like our mashed potato masher. With a handle. I have to put a glove on, so I can't. And your yellow suitcase.
Really? You can't touch that?
It actually gives me a gag reflex when I touch the rubber.
I remember one Christmas getting you a pair of dumbbells that you asked for, and he literally dropped them on the floor because he couldn't touch them, and I was like, rejected.
That's
the excuse.
That's amazing. And thank you so much, Mart.
So welcome.
That is a wrap on this episode of Looks Like We Made It. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're here for the video marketing insights, the storytelling magic, or just to hear me and my dad talk shop. We drop new episodes every other Tuesday, so hit that follow button and stay tuned for more tips, real life experiences, and behind the scenes stories from the world of content creation. If you want, you can keep the conversation going. You can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and our website. Just search for Howl Media and say hi. We'd love to hear your thoughts, answer your questions, or even have you on the show, just like Mart. If you've got a great story to share or fancy joining us for a chat, just like Mart, drop us a message. We're always looking for inspiring guests, just like Mart. Until next time, keep creating, keep storytelling, and remember, every great piece of content starts with an idea, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.